Hello, this is SDSU-Tube. It's our video blog covering Jackrabbit football. David Andrew Brown, Thomas Wilfred Nieman, and Tommy. Jacks don't go 1-0 this week. They lose the Hobo Day game 30-27 to Youngstown State, but for some reason I can't really figure out why. More plays, more time of possession, no turnovers. What went wrong to cause them to lose this game?
I don't know. It's a very good question. As you said, more time of possession. Every statistic almost was in the Jackrabbits' favor except for sacks. Jacks gave up 6 sacks in the ball game. And we just talked to Coach Stegemeyer, and he can't really put his finger on it either, but he always preaches, doesn't matter what the stats are, there's about 4 or 5 plays in each game that make the difference, and the Jacks gave up too many timely 3rd and 4th down conversions that kept drives alive, that led to touchdowns for Youngstown State. There were a couple of big plays by the Penguins in this game to keep those drives alive, and give credit to Youngstown State, very good football team, but disappointing was the word of the day from Coach Steg on this loss.
Now, early on, the Jacks drove down the field on their first 2 possessions, but they settled for field goals in the red zone.
Yeah, that was part of it. They get inside the 10-yard line, get in a 3rd down situation, get sacked both times, and have to settle for field goals. That's 2 of those, half dozen big plays in the game where they don't get touchdowns. They settle for field goals, makes a difference later on.
Youngstown State had a freshman quarterback, Hunter Wells, making only his 3rd start, and he tore apart the Jacks secondary.
He kind of did. I mean, as Stig said, they simplified things for him a lot. I mean, he didn't have a lot of reads to go to, and they got some quick passes out, and the Jacks had a hard time getting pressure on him and making him move around back there. He's a very good drop-back passer, and to say he tore him up, I guess he did, but he's a good quarterback for being a true freshman.
And then, of course, they got a good running game, too. Martin Ruiz and Jody Webb, a nice 1-2 running back combo.
Yeah, it wasn't just Ruiz. Webb made a couple of those plays on 3rd down. They kept drives alive. He had that wheel route for a touchdown in the first half of the ball game. So they're loaded at running back right now. And but again, the Jacks, what did Ruiz end up with? About 130 yards. He hurt him with not long touchdown runs, but just those 20-yard runs on 3rd down, and those 20-yard runs that put Youngstown in a position to score on short drives, 2 and 3 play drives, and just killed the Jacks with those kind of plays.
Let's go to the second quarter a little bit. Jake Winicky continues to have a breakout season, and especially so in this game with Jason Schneider hurt and unable to play. Winicky had another fantastic outing.
Yeah, he did. He had that touchdown in the corner. We've seen that many times where he just gets his chest up on a smaller defender and makes that touchdown catch, but he's been unbelievable. And we've talked a lot about the difference that Jason Schneider being on the other side makes, and we saw that maybe that wasn't such a big difference in this game because Winicky goes for double-digit catches again, but he has been unbelievably good for the Jacks this year.
You mentioned that touchdown he scored. That was with about 2 minutes to go in the first half, and then SDSU gets Youngstown in a 3rd and long, and Stig said this was disappointing because it looked like they were content to run out the clock and punt, and they get a 1st down.
Yeah, they did that play where they get the running back right up the middle, and then he folds to the outside, and the Jacks get sucked in, and that was kind of a problem all afternoon with South Dakota State. Just got sucked into the middle of the field and lost that leverage on the outside shoulder of these running backs and the quarterback, and Youngstown was able to get to the sideline for a lot of big plays.
And then literally the next 2 plays after that, they get into the SDSU red zone, a big pass play or a big run play, and then a big pass play.
Well, and the touchdown by the quarterback on the run by Wells, again, Jacks had a guy coming free from the corner, and he just misses. And that was a huge play in the game.
Let's move to the second half. It's 23-20 Youngstown State. SDSU holds Youngstown to a 3-and-out in its first possession, and then they get down close to the red zone. It's a 4th and 1, and SDSU decides to go for it. Now, Youngstown State calls timeout beforehand, and then SDSU comes back, and I asked Stig in the post-game press conference. He said it was the same play both before and after the timeout, and Zenner gets stuffed at the line.
But they're in, about the 30-yard line there of Youngstown State, and you got Zach Zenner. You can get 1 yard most of the time. I mean, I don't know why Stig put that on himself. It's just maybe they could have changed the play, whatever, but you got to pick up a yard there.
Yeah, and I'm no football expert by any means, but I agree with the call. I mean, it was sort of in that range of where Sirivaka can maybe not hit it, although he has been great this year. You sort of that old mantra, play to win.
Yeah, exactly. If they get the field goal there, it's a tie football game, but you pick that up and go get a touchdown, and that was the story of the game. They just could not get 6 when they needed to get 6.
Battle of punts for the rest of the 3rd quarter, moving into the 4th quarter, and Youngstown State gets a drive going. SDSU stops them on 3rd and 5, and then they go for it on 4th and 5, where they're also in no man's land and pick it up.
They do, and they just got a guy over the middle, kind of in between linebackers and safeties back there. And again, a good play by Hunter Wells, the kid at quarterback for Youngstown State. But again, another one of those half dozen huge plays, and they go on and score from there. So I don't know, give credit to Youngstown. You really have to get a lot of credit to Youngstown, but disappointing, again, the word of the day defensively for the Jackrabbits.
They're up 30-20 after the touchdown, after that 4th and 5 conversion. SDSU drives back down. They get a touchdown of their own. They hold Youngstown State, so they're about to get the ball back with about a minute and a half to go, but Youngstown lets off a whale of a punt.
Yeah, I mean, again, just one of those things that went Youngstown's way in this game. They boom it for 55 yards, 59 yards, whatever it was, and it bites at the 2-yard line. You're right, and Butler's back there trying to corral it in, and it goes over his head. You think it's going into the end zone. Stops dead at the 2-yard line, so the Jacks got to start from there.
And then they had a couple of holding penalties on Trevor Greger and eventually got into 4th and 19, and Jake Winicky had a chance, but he couldn't haul it in, and the Jacks do lose 30-27. To me, this felt a lot like the Southern Illinois game last year, which they lost 27-24, in that SDSU was probably the better team, but in terms of execution, Youngstown was the better team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can say they're better if they lose the game, but you're right, more yards and the things we talked about before, just everything stacked up in the Jacks' favor statistically, but you got to finish off drives and get touchdowns and not give up 4th and 5s late in the ballgame.
I'm sure Stig is going to be preaching that this week. They travel to Fargo to take on the Bison. You know, it's the big rivalry game up there in Fargo. Of course, NDSU coming off a blowout win over USD down in the Dakota Dome on Saturday. So 8-0 NDSU, 5-3 SDSU. What do the Jacks have to do in order to have a chance at an upset?
Score touchdowns when they get in the red zone.
That would help.
That would help. Can't turn it over. They didn't turn it over against Youngstown State this week, but protect the football and just convert. They've got to play almost a perfect ball game, but get points, get 6 when you've got to get 6. And defensively, I don't know. North Dakota State has been known for their defense, but their offense is rolling right now as well. Carson Wentz has been really good at quarterback for them. So Jacks can't give up big plays like they did against Youngstown. They got to tighten that up, but going to be as tough as it gets. Obviously, North Dakota State's won 32 in a row, so I don't know what you do other than go play a perfect game and try to beat them. And Stig said, you know, we're going to tell our guys, I expect to win every football game, and that's the way they're going to go at it this week.
And we'll see what happens on Saturday, November 1st at the Fargo Dome, SDSU and NDSU. Of course, we'll have coverage all week here online on SDSU-Tube and on Jackrabbit Journal Wednesday at 8 o'clock on Midco Sports Network. David Andrew, Thomas Wilfred. See ya.